How's it going, Warlords? Dark Britain of the Runaway Warlords is back on the stage, and we have another great off-the-scene interview. Here with me today, we have the Dark Sage Senpai. Go ahead and introduce yourself, good sir.
What's up, you guys? My name is Chase the Dark Sage, and basically, you know, the things I do on YouTube is manga videos, manga reviews, sometimes figure reviews, and, you know, obviously I'm here because we both love One Piece, and One Piece, I'm not gonna lie, it's a series that I hold in a high regard now, and I gotta highly respect it. At first, I was hating on it a bit, I'm not gonna lie, but I got back into it, and I'm like, you know what? All the hype I've been hearing about it, it's well deserved. So, One Piece is definitely amazing, and I really want to talk about it more. So,
we're gonna jump right into that. But first, I want to be the first person on the internet to say congrats on 20,000K for the Dark Sage. Yes.
Thank you.
Emoji here. Yes, there we go. It's so cool to just really be able to work with a lot of people who have been developing their channel. And for those who do not know, this is really just a conversation. As Sage has said, like, One Piece is this huge arc, and everyone has their different interpretations. So it's really fun to just sit down and just be like, so what did you not like? And why do we both hate Long Ring Long Land? Things like that. Fun interpretations that a lot of people for that accent. That's one of the reasons why I blame the anime in any regard, especially back then, for framing things in a way that I just really didn't want. For instance, Laboon was cut out of the Toonami version. That was very confusing when you get to Thriller Bark. It's just like, what's going on?
I completely understand, because someone who read the manga, like, I watched up from the beginning to Alabasta, and there was like stuff cut out of that, like Lil Garden. So I was so confused when I was reading the manga. I'm like, I don't remember none of this when I was growing up. I'm like, what is this?
This is so much better. Like, what's going on?
I mean, it is. It is. So I wasn't too mad at that.
But also, you have to remember, if they're taking out a cigarette for a lollipop, they're going to be editing the crap out of this.
Well, let's not forget that the lollipop had some smoke coming out of it in that one scene. So
I think I forgot that. Which scene? Where was he at? Was it on the Barate or was it afterwards?
I want to say it was maybe on the Barate. I gotta find it, but there was like a scene where there's literally, like, you can see a hint of smoke coming out the lollipop. And I'm like,
literally coming with the smoke off of that. Before it was cool to come with the smoke. Interesting.
Exactly.
Okay, so I just got done watching your review of, what was it? This was still when it was the Arc reviews. So this was Long Ring Long Land, Water 7, and Enies Lobby. And the first things out of your mouth was, I absolutely love this. This is now my second favorite series.
It is.
Premise series, bar none. And I'm fine. Like, so JoJo's is your number one then, right?
Yeah, JoJo's is my number one favorite. But if I had that rank, which is better, I will say One Piece. Like, I wouldn't even have to think about it. One Piece to me is the best thing I probably read.
Moral victory.
That, and then Berserk, and then JoJo. If I had to go like best things I've read. So
I loved your tribute, by the way. That was very beautiful. I can't pronounce the mangaka's name.
Kentaro Miura? I believe that's how you say it.
Kentaro Miura.
I count like Water 7, Enies Lobby, and Postal Lobby all together in one thing.
I do with
like
Water
how I
7.
count like what's the arc right before they actually hit Skypiea? When they're on the island fighting
Jaya.
Yeah, Jaya. Like, I count Jaya and Skypiea all as one. Because it's like, it literally segues into that. So, like, as a huge arc, I can see if you segment it like that.
Yeah.
Understandable. But as a huge arc, I count it as that because they all go into each other.
And with Enies Lobby especially, I can't tell what information was the best. The reveal of the new bounties in Sanji's photo, which if you go back in retrospect, there's so many foreshadowings for Stealth Black, which is madness, absolute madness, because this is like chapter 400 plus or something like that. Garp's reveal.
I love Garp. He's one of my favorite characters.
He's my best old dude. And now
I can't say that. I can't say he's the best. He's my best old dude because my favorite character is my best old dude.
That's fair.
So that's why.
Is it? Wait, are you talking about like Sengoku, or are you talking about? Are you considering Kaido an old dude?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
Mm-mm.
Really?
I don't know how old Kaido is.
I'd probably put Kaido in his early 50s. Really, or
understandable?
Crocus?
Goat beard, man. Goat beard. Goat beard.
Oh, white beard. Dude with dude that actually didn't actually have a beard.
Exactly. That's how goat he was. That boy had a mustache. Everybody said, "Yo, he got a beard." Like, yo, ain't nobody was questioning it. Nobody was. That's how goat that man was. Nobody questioned it. I'm saying.
Oh, that's so funny. That is so funny. The man is so much of a boss. He doesn't have a beard, but he does.
Exactly. No one questions it. And when I dropped it was Ace's death. That was like one of the biggest things on the internet in terms of the anime community. Because Ace was my favorite character back then. During
I'm so sorry.
up to the Alabasta arc. Yeah, exactly. When I heard that, I was like, huh? I was like, no. But actually, I have a hot take. I have a super hot take. I feel like Ace is one of the most overhyped characters.
And that was your baby too. Wow. Good for you.
Exactly. I feel like he was the most overhyped character only because the death is supposed to like really hit you. And obviously the sentimental part of, what he said to Luffy, like, thank you for loving me. That one hit. I mean, it didn't hit. I'm not gonna lie, it did not hit because I didn't get it at first until we got the Sabo and Ace and Luffy backstory. I'm like, oh, now that hits. Now that phrase right there hits. But I was more saddened for Luffy's loss because we love Luffy as a character.
Oh,
to me, Ace, we didn't get enough of Ace for me to have an attachment for him.
I think that's fair.
Because the only attachment I really had to him, and the reason he was my favorite character, was because one, he looked cool when he first came to Alabasta. He had the fire powers, and in the video games, I always played with Ace. So I was like, come on, I'm like, this is easy. But in terms of like the manga, I was like, we don't really get that much time with Ace for me to really care about his death like that.
I think that is incredibly fair. And I like the fact that you're able to come at it. Technically, you're really able to have two different vantage points from it. You have your original understanding of how far did you get in 4 Kids? Was it to Alabasta? Was it? Did you finish Alabasta, or did you got right there?
I finished Alabasta, and I had the video games. And I think the video games kind of like they introduced certain characters I'd never seen, like a Nell or a Neru. And I used to play him in the game, but I used to hate him. I was like, I don't remember this character in Alabasta. Like, why is he in the game? I'm like, is this one of Crocodile's goons? So when I was reading Alabasta, I was waiting for a Neru to come up. I'm like, where's the Neru at? I'm like, what's he doing? Then I realized he was his own big villain in the next arc, which I think that arc was kind of trash. But yeah.
And that's fair. I've come to appreciate Skypiea a lot more. Because I first engaged with it when I was 17, and I'm like, I don't want to come do all this stuff. Let's get back to more fighting. And granted, there was a lot more fighting. I also didn't realize I was very uncomfortable by the whole Native Americans getting their land taken from them piece. That I didn't realize that.
There does touch on some racy things in there, which I do kind of like.
The entire aspect of Fishman Island is about racism, and me as a black man, it's just like, I know people who think like that. That's pretty...
Exactly. Like, I hold Fishman Island up in high regard. People sometimes don't get it. I'm like, as a black person, like, it's up there. Especially with, Fisher Tiger. I'm sorry, I know we're going on a tangent. But Fisher Tiger with his backstory... Fisher Tiger with his backstory, right? Basically, he's trying to be like the Martin Luther King. He was like, you know what? We don't need to fight. We need to keep peace. But on his deathbed, he was like, yo, the people that he was trying to make peace with ended up basically killing him. He was like, deep down, I can never forgive those humans. He was like, I never. I was like, I'm like, that hits. And Jinbei being like on the side and Arlong too. I'm like, I'm like, come on, they brought back Arlong and they just, I love Arlong, even though I don't love what he did to Nami. But so much of that backstory just contributed to Arlong's character, and I'm like, I see where you're coming at from the Arlong Park arc now. I see where that's coming.
It all contributed to Nami's full backstory, to be completely honest. And it ending with everyone being tense as Nami was looking at Jinbei and hearing him out, And she's just like, I think can forgive you. And everyone's like, okay, cool. And I was like, because I didn't realize why it was so tense until I realized that he was the one who set Arlong loose. Not free, loose. Because Arlong, they couldn't touch Arlong. Again, more understanding of why they couldn't touch Arlong, because Jinbei was a warlord of the sea.
Yeah, I forgot it. But I also wanted to touch on, since we're on Fishman Island, I wanted to touch on when Jinbei, that's just so good. Jinbei touched on the fact that Luffy was like, I'm gonna just go beat Hody up. And then everybody's like, whoa, you can't do that. He was like, how's that gonna look? We got an outsider coming in, a human of all people, trying to touch Hody. Like, we're already trying to fight through that, that problem right there. You need to let us ask you for the help. You can't just step in without our permission, because you're still going to be perpetuating that stereotype that we already have for humans. And I was like, oh my god. I'm like, what is Oda doing right now? I'm like,
has he been to the States?
So
like, did he go visit apartheid in South Africa? Like, how does he know? Because
exactly, it was just perfect writing at that moment.
And it's relevant even to this day. Granted, Hody Jones is horrible as a villain.
Of course. He was like the evil Malcolm X, I'll say.
I think that's fair. And for a lot of people, who especially don't understand the whole dynamic of the racial component, that was the reason that Fishman Island is so downgraded, is because Hody was a trash character. Let's be honest.
Yeah. But I did like that aspect that they was coming from with Hody. Like, he was never affected by that stuff. Like, he just has hatred just to have hatred. I'm like, there's people like that. People just harboring hatred just because. I'm like, this is genius right here.
This is rich.
While he was a trash villain, I liked the realism in that whole arc. The relatability of that whole arc. I'm not gonna lie, the ending of Thriller Bark is kind of what saved it for me. When Bartholomew comes through, nothing did happen in that arc. I forgot nothing happened.
You forgot. It's crazy. But also, even on top of that, Thriller Bark it wasn't before 400. I know that. Big Mom was mentioned in Thriller Bark.
Oh yeah, because that was the girl's mother or whatever.
It was Lola's mother, and it's just
Lola. It's
so weird because that was such a throwaway thing. I watched that. This is before Marineford, so I watched that back in 2009, and for it to become relevant in 2017, that's ridiculous. That is.
But it's a great callback though, especially in Whole Cake, because like all the layered things, and you forget them because obviously a lot happens in between. When he comes back to it, it's like, this makes so much sense. Yeah,
the thing with Nami's boobs. Obviously, when she goes there, everyone's paying attention. But it's like, wait, why are the homies not attacking her? Lola, wait a second. Lola did say her mom was a pirate in the New World. Holy cow! I personally want. Whoever's watching it at this point, our communities are caught up at least. Yamato.
Okay.
I personally love Yamato. I love me some Yamato. Holy cow! So I would love to see not only another crewmate, but a female fighter that actually has like blood coming down their face. And it happens to Nami and Robin, but when it happens to them, we're just like, no. With Yamato, it's like, get him, and that's what we need. And that just shows that One Piece, the community is all about gender equality, because we just want a woman that can throw down.
Facts. I really want Yamato to join, but I will say I feel like the Kozuki Oden, her feeling like she's a reincarnation. I want her to have her own character if she were to join. Because I wouldn't want her to act just like Kozuki Oden. Because to me, he's one of my favorite characters. So I hold him up in a high regard. I want you to be your own character. But right now, your character is, really tied personally with being Kaido's offspring and trying to think you're Kozuki Oden's reincarnation. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm torn because I like Yamato, but I don't want her to be Kozuki Oden the whole series. She can play the same role, but not the same character.
The same role as the individual that helps guide.
Exactly.
That scares me though, because technically that's Robin's role. And we've been hearing a whole lot that Robin needs to watch her back and all of that, even back in.
But see, that's why I like that. I like that aspect because if we get Yamato, that could create for like a Robin kidnapping story. But I don't want it to be just like Water 7 / Enies Lobby, because that's going to be basically the same concept almost.
Do you feel like that's coming up because we have not only Robin, but we don't know what happened to Sabo, which could paint another Marineford 2.0. Vivi could be in the same situation as Robin, so a kidnapping situation, and then Boa is gonna have to be a jailbird. I do not think Kobe is gonna be able to bring Boa in, but he's the only person who can take the marrow fruit because he only simps for Luffy. I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. A lot of questions in there.
True. I will say, if we're speaking on things that happened in the Reverie, which was such a great world building arc.
Oh yeah.
It didn't what Kaido said either last chapter or the chapter before when he knocked Luffy off of Onigashima, the floating part. You're not Joy Boy. I was like, whoa! I'm like, what this man on?
Last chapter he said, I'm here because it's Wano. Excuse you? What do you know you're not telling us? Every chapter. Every single chapter.
But my thing is, why does Kaido want to do this? Because we all know that Kaido kind of wants, I guess, a great death or something like that, because he can't kill himself. He's been trying to off himself. He has to be super depressed, because that one time when he knocked Luffy clean out, when he was coming through, I forgot what part of town he was coming through, he was just super drunk. I'm like, oh yeah, he is just depressed. Like, he's drunk in the middle of the day. I'm like, nah, Kaido. I'm like, but why are you putting up so much of a fight? But I'm trying to see, I'm like, but you said he's not Joy Boy, so I'm like, hold up. I'm like, what that mean? Like, can only Joy Boy take you out? What's happening right here?
It feels like we're getting a flashback incoming. Because we had the Odin flashback, which it could be recency bias, but because of the stuff we got with Roger, I put that as one of my top 2 flashbacks.
With Odin,
if not one,
Roger.
Because of those 2.
I'm not gonna lie, because of the flashback, to me, Fisher Tiger is like 2 or 3. Odin is like number 1. Odin is number 1. Like that flashback made me love a character who was dead. And when Kanjuro, when he mimics Kozuki Odin, I'm like, nah, someone need to off him. I'm like, he is disrespectful. Clapped. Yeah, he needs to get clapped right now. Hit him with the Thunder Bagua. Don't hit Kinemon in the head with it.
Oh my god, as we were just talking about the Will of P, and this has been a conversation I've had with other people, that the biggest critique that I have, and I've had this since I was 17, is like the expectations around death is just non-existent, which does impede the experience. I think that's a very fair critique. I don't know if Kinemon's dead. He literally just got skewered, and I don't want to laugh at that, but he literally just steak.
It was very. I want to laugh at it because it was very anticlimactic. Like, if he was to be off at that one panel, it's hilarious because they've been kind of building up his character, and I started to love his character in Wano because he took that leadership role. Finally. Basically. Exactly. I love that. Because at first he was annoying, I didn't really like him like that. He took the leadership role, I was like, okay, Kinemon stepping up, I can respect this. But if he took that Thunder Bagua to the head and was just off in that one panel like that, and no one like would have grieved or nothing like that, I'm like, yo, come on, y'all got to do Kinemon a little better. But that, I don't know. I just don't know. Like, I kind of want him to be dead because of that, because that adds a little more weight to it. And plus, we already got like a big death in Wano with the guy who used to be like one of the him, the one that was smiling and has the daughter. We already got. I'm super bad with names.
No, you're good.
We already got that death. That death hit. I'm like, okay. Especially when you get the Kozuki Odin backstory, I'm like, oh, that death hit. I'm like, it definitely hits. But I'm like, so what's happening?
Are you ready for it to hit even worse? So Oda, I hate when he does it, but it helps with context for the story. So when you were reading the manga, you probably noticed that he stopped putting the SBS's question corners in the back of the each chapter. He now releases like big leaflets of just responding to questions.
on the Ohara library, something like that. Right?
Ohara translates it from Japanese.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yasue adopted her. And Yasue did not eat a smile. He was just doing that for everyone around him.
Oh, wait, okay, I like that part. But I kind of wish that concept, not the adoption part, I mean, it kind of makes sense because you never really see him do anything in the backstory to have a daughter. So that makes sense. So now I got to question my own intellect on that one. But to hear he never ate a small fruit, but he was doing that to like, okay, see that puts a little.
Told you it was gonna hit more.
Okay.
I found out.
I wish that was in the actual story instead of just being in the back of something like that.
Oh, same here. Because it easily could have been after the battle. Hopefully we win. I haven't figured that out yet, but I would assume it's One Piece.
Mm-hmm.
That would be an excellent conversation of, hey Otoko, are you going to be the next daimyo? And someone being like, I'm sorry, she actually was found. She can't be the next daimyo. Like that's a much easier way of inserting that type of information into the story instead of like your monthly info dump, which I love the SBSs, don't get me wrong, but it's still
I do too.
Frustrating. Very frustrating.
Because I like it when it touches on stuff that already like happened before, and it gives a little more context, but it wasn't like super needed context. But for something like that, if they would have like said that around his death, like the chapter where Yasui died, and they was like, oh, he never ate a smile fruit. Or like they did like, or they had like I know they don't really have scientists or medical people in One Piece like that, but they would have like done some research. It's like there's no traces of a smile fruit in him. Like that would have hit.
Like an autopsy kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. Do you think Wano's getting too long?
No, I think people are saying that because we're in the middle of it. This is the exact same conversation and argument that people have with Whole Cake. And now that, in retrospect, that Whole Cake's in the back mirror, everyone's like, oh yeah, I love Whole Cake. It is just because we're in it right now. Personally,
that's what I suspected. Because I heard that's what people say with Dressrosa. And I can understand with Dressrosa, because if I was reading that week to week, I'd be pissed. I'd be pissed every week. But as a binger, I'm like, okay, there could have been stuff that was cut out, but I enjoyed it.
Just give me all of it. I'll take it all.
Exactly.
So to your point, I don't think it's too long. I just think that we're approaching it, when you approach it in real time, that's when the issues happen. Because I have a similar feeling about Alabasta, because I was week to week in the anime then, 2000, not going to say how long ago that was, but I have a similar feeling to Alabasta that many of the young community have towards Dressrosa. Blah, this and that. But in retrospect, you're just like, God damn, that was good.
Definitely. But Wano is one of the longest. Well, it is.
It officially is now, yeah. And again, we are in an age of more instant gratification. I think it's the best way of putting that. So in today's age, it is much more frustrating when you see like My Hero having a 15 chapter arc, and I'm just like, that's adorable. You guys get through it in like 4 months. Wano's been going on since 2018.
I'm not gonna lie, One Piece put a lot of stuff in perspective for me as a manga reader, because I go to other mangas and I read their arcs, and I say, oh, it's just, look, I say this, oh, it's just 60 chapters. Look, I'm so used to like a 100 chapter like arc, like with Skypiea and Giant or Dressrosa, Whole Cake. I'm like, oh, it's just 60 chapters? Oh, that's nothing. People are like, oh, that's a long arc. That's nothing. I ate that up in One Piece. Nah, come on, bring that to me right here.
Oden's flashback means so much to me as a human being, because when I first started One Piece 17 years old, Roger, I had no idea who he was. He was just this imposing figure who set this entire world in motion. 16 years later, I finally get to see who this man is, and I adore everything about him. He's goofy. Hey, I don't want you guys to get hurt. And then he just wrecks Oden with one shot. Excuse you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that was disrespectful. I was like, yo. I'm like, that boy means business. But the fact that Whitebeard was going head to head with Roger, I'm like, oh, so you was going easy on Oden back then. That means, I'm like, oh, Whitebeard a different breed. I mean, I already respected him from the Marine Ford arc, but you a different breed.
Oh yeah. Well, the flowing locks just made him a different breed to begin with. I'm not gonna. Hey.
I mean, he went from that to the waves though, because he had the do rag on in the present time. He had the do rag on. You didn't see that wave cut he had on? He had them waves nice. I'm just saying.
Oh, it would have been amazing if when he passed, not only did his cape pop off, but his thing, and he just had like golden waves. That would have been amazing. Oh, see, now that's in my head. Thank you for putting that there.
Because they was like, yo, like his bounty's high. He been killing people. Like, because we didn't really go into Law, like what he could do. And also, I didn't like Law's fit. He was lacking in the drip area, so I'm like, yo, I can't respect this man right now. Yo, he had a whole hipster fit. He literally went to Hot Topic and said, yo, dress me. Like, no.
Before I was like, it was cool to go to Hot Topic to do that, too.
Yeah, and then he had the whack hat. I'm like, nah, dog. I'm like, get him out of here. Like, he did the room thing, but, you know, it wasn't as epic as when he did it in Punk Hazard.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, when I saw him do that in Punk Hazard, I'm like, yo! I'm like, what we trying to get into? But
when you first see
Tabodi,
Room,
I'm like, no.
There was a lot of questions about that power. Kids was pretty understandable in that moment. Like, all right, he can control magnetism. But when you first see Law do Room, you're just like, what's?
Yeah,
what's
I'm like,
going
whoa.
on?
I'm like, what's happening? I don't get it. But obviously, you know, being out of One Piece, when I was reading it, I saw Law in the outfit. I'm like, why doesn't Law have that long black coat thing that I always see him in or whatever? So I'm like, oh, we must get more of him in the post-time skip or something. Mm-hmm. I'm like, because I don't see him in the usual outfit I see him in. So.
Have you seen the character polls and all of that?
The most recent one?
Yeah.
I don't remember it, but I did see it, though. I don't like... I got a hot take. I wish Corazon was not in it.
That's fair. I don't fight either way on that one, so...
I feel like he's not a popular enough character.
Oh, here we go. This is going to be the hot take. Husbando and waifu.
Woo! I love Nami. I love me some Nami. I love Uzi too.
Wait, whose figure do you have? I don't see anyone's.
Oh, but that's because I started packing because I'm moving soon. The only figure I have right now is a Whitebeard on the shelf for my One Piece collection.
Oh, okay.
But
you looked and I was just like, wait, is there a figure? I want to see how dirty he is.
No, I ain't got none of those yet. But I love Boa. Woo! I love Boa. Boa is another one. Ooh.
When did the pivot happen for Boa? Was it right when you saw her, or after she became tamed?
After she became tamed.
Okay, because before she was kicking puppies and kittens, and even I'm just like,
yeah, I was like, whoa! I was like, what's she doing? I'm like, she need to chill. And hey, Luffy came in. Hey, I started acting Chadley as usual. She fell for it. I'm like, yeah, I like this Boa. Hey, she ride or die already. I like it.
Now we're just like, what was that kitten doing in Boa's way? First of all.
Yeah, I'm like, how dare you disrespect the same ground that Boa stands on?
Boa, I adore her. I haven't seen her kick butt in Stampede. Again, I don't think that Kobe took her out though. I don't. Someone else had to have been there.
Yeah,
in my view.
I gotta see.
What about?
I don't know. But waifu, I like Boa, but I also like Yamato. Yamato does. She's a nice looking woman.
Yeah, she's so innocent. It's hard for Oda to give us a not overly sexualized female character. One, so that's why we're like a female character that can fight. Another reason why we're just like, and she's not like Nami to where she's so, or Robin to where she's just so done with the world. She's kind of like blah. She is very innocent, and that is a very appealing aspect to have in Yamato's character. Like, oh, look at this thing, Momo, it looks just like you. And I'm like, oh, you're so adorable. And then she's like, oh yes, I'm Odin. And you're just like, thank God you're cute. Thank God. But that's just the part about Yamato. That's just who she is.
Yeah, her character is endearing. I'll say that.
That's the
waifu. Yeah, for waifu though, it has to be it's either Nami or it's between Nami, Boa, or Yamato. It goes in between those three. But for Husbando, for the Chadley man, it's gonna have to be my boy Kosuke Oden. I'm sorry. Look, Oden
so
ain't
much
Oden
respect.
ain't boiled. Come on, that is a hard line. Oden was born to be boiled. Dog, come on, man. Come on, man. Every time you see him do something, it's just so awesome. Like when he was in the boiling pot of oil, holding up all the Akazai and I was like, dog. I'm like, no one's topping Oden. I'm sorry. No one's doing it.
This man literally had a hide your kids, hide your wife introduction, and it was amazing. At 18,
exactly.
Just walking like his dick was that big, just like, balls are too big. Too big.
Yes, he let it hang. I'm not gonna lie, he let it hang.
And someone was talking about this in their review the other day. Like, Oda's interpretation of like 15 to 18-year-olds was insane. Because Kinemon at that point was 15. Ashura Doji was 14. That big fight between the two of them. He's 14 years old. It's just, but they grow him big down in Wano.
Yeah. Look, it's something in that water. But I do like Garp too. I like.
Is Garp your favorite Marine then?
Oh yeah, he's my favorite Marine.
I do like Sengoku now that he's become a little shit. It's very funny. When Fujitoro was wishing goodbye to the Straw Hats, he was like, "You guys are probably amazing," and meanwhile behind them, Sengoku's like, "I heard that." He does nothing but piss off Akainu, which I love. It is so funny.
I love it because I hate Akainu. I think Oda did a wonderful job with Akainu to where I hate him so much because he's such a great villain.
He is, and that's the thing. It's tough to call him a villain because technically in this world we're the ones following the bad guys.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm like, he did so well with Akainu because Akainu is that guy. There is no gray area. You're either good or you're bad, and I get it because he wants to preserve justice or his form of justice. But then we have characters like Aokiji, where he has a lazy justice, but he can kind of see the good in people. Like he knows that there's good pirates and bad pirates. So I'm like, and Kizaru, I think that's his name.
Yeah.
Borsalina. I just like him because his outfit's clean and his style is clean.
Oh yeah. I'm really interested in seeing Green Bull, but here's another fun tidbit for you. Do you know when we first saw Akainu? It wasn't Marineford.
When was it?
Ooh, are you ready? So, in the when the trio of Ohara was attacked, there was one boat of refugees that was allowed to escape. One vice admiral said no one makes it out of Ohara. That was Akainu.
Oda, come on, Oda, you can't do this to me. No.
Right? It took me a while to continue because I always looked at the person. I was like, why is he saying this is absolute justice? And then finally, and that's why it's so powerful now because you had Akiji and Akainu there. Aokiji let Robin go. Akainu is the reason that no one made it out of Ohara alive. I want Momonosuke to be a better character. What? Who said that? He's getting better. He's getting much better.
I didn't like him at first, so I will admit that. I still don't really. I'm not fond of him, but he plays a role. I'll say that.
Just because he can do whatever he wants to Nami's boobs doesn't mean you have to hate him. Okay, he's perfectly fine.
Well, I mean, he's playing. He's doing things in life that I want to do. So
we can we can get you that meme with Brooke, Sanji, Kinemon in your face, just like you damn kid.
Oh yeah. Yes, definitely. I'm like, God dang it. I'm like, how is this man getting so lucky? I'm like, I know he knows what he's doing.
Oh, he knew exactly what he was doing. Which, speaking of Momo, how insane was it that he drops, "Hey, I got to meet Roger." Usopp's like, "You're a freaking liar," and then it's revealed that they time skipped.
Yeah, that time. First of all, the time skip thing was crazy.
It hurt my brain.
Then when I was gonna say he traveled with Roger, I'm like, wait. I'm like, before the time skip thing, I'm like, I'm not getting it right now. I don't get it.
It was very confusing when he said that, and I just wrote it off. And then when time skip happened, I was just like, he really did meet Roger. And then during the time,
basically grew up with him around him.
What do you think? What are your thoughts on Blackbeard, his powers, and do you think he's gonna get a third fruit? I don't know how intricate you are with the fan theories and all of that.
The only fan theory I heard about Blackbeard is that he might have multiple personalities, which allows him to have multiple devil fruits. Which I wouldn't chalk it up to that, because either way, it's all in the same body.
Fair. I think that's very.
So
fair.
I'm like, unless he has like multiple stomachs or something, where I'm pretty sure he didn't have a devil fruit before, where he had multiple where there's no devil fruit where I'm pretty sure there's not multiple stomachs in you or something like that. So.
This is Oda. We have a jacket fruit. There could be a stomach fruit.
Please don't say that.
We have a munch
fruit. We have a fruit that turned a gun into a dog.
Yes.
I gotta remember that.
Yes.
And the gun somehow ate the fruit. I gotta remember that. Oh, I already know it's.
Oh, you know he's a fish?
Yeah, it's basically like the Magic Carp Gyarados thing, where the fish tried to reach the moon or whatever, and then it turned into a huge dragon.
That was I still don't know how I feel about that. Especially
because I feel about it if like they don't do anything with that concept.
They already have. It's the reason he can't die.
Well, I mean the concept of did he have to train with that devil fruit to make was the devil fruit already weak in itself? He had to train it to be that strong or whatever.
Fair. I think it's a mixture of both, because Shiryu is a dragon that lives forever. But I've always asked since I first met him when he fell off of Skypiea, why doesn't he just drown himself? He's a fish.
Oh wait. Oh yeah. I'm about to say, because it is a devil fruit and you are underwater.
So he won't be able to move, but he'll still be able to breathe.
That's crazy. So how would he die then? Because he just lose all his nutrients.
He might. Who knows? He might starve down there for being down there for that long. But knowing Kaido, he'd probably just start drinking the water like a fish.
That is. Oh my god. Just thinking about. Okay.
It answered so many questions when we found out he was a fish. It was just one of those things where it's just like, so those weren't dragon scales, they were fish scales.
But I wonder if he's going to go in the water at any point, though. Now that we know that.
Maybe. There's still so much left. I hear a lot of people thinking that Wano is going to be done by the year. I don't think so.
How many weeks we got? How many weeks we got left in the year?
Well,
it's like what? 20, 30 more chapters, maybe?
Let's put it this way. You have 6 months left. Oda averages 3 chapters a month because he likes to do 3 chapters and take his break. So 6 times 3 is 18.
I don't think Wano's gonna be done.
I don't think we're gonna get to Act 5 if we even get multiple acts.
So you think we're gonna get a full Act 5?
I think we're gonna get
5 acts?
Because I think this was definitely the tragedy of losing Kinemon. All the pieces are in a proper order to go into a flashback and then come for the final battle, which would be all of Act 4. Because we literally haven't gotten anything from Sasaki and Frankie, nor have we really gotten anything from Brooke. And everyone wants to see Robin fight because she hasn't fought since Skypiea, which is ridiculous. Again, the One Piece community, equal opportunity. We just want to see women fight. So, what?
I do.
How hard is that?
I do want to see Robin with my hands up.
And
she's super OP with her devil fruit.
Exactly. And more importantly, Jinbei throwing water on the kitty. I want to see that. Who's Who? I thought Who's Who was going to have Yamato's popularity because he was introduced in a similar fashion that Katakuri was. Because if you look at the trends towards these later arcs, or someone who's introduced that we're all just like. Granted, Raizo kind of defeats that entire purpose out of Wano, out of Zoe, but like we got it with Karakuri and Hokage. I thought it was gonna be Who's Who, and I was just like, all right, is this dude gonna be dope? And then we got Yamato, and everyone lost their minds. Everyone, and the anime hasn't even gotten a hold of her yet. Once the anime does, calling it one of the most popular cosplays for 2021 and 2022. Calling it right now.
I'm waiting to see. I'll wait to see on that one. I like the dethronization kind of the not the Shishibukai, the warlords.
Oh, the warlords.
I like the dethronization of the warlords. Yeah, I like that. I want to see some more work that Fujitoro is gonna do.
Ooh, I like the SSG or whatever the hell that is.
I want to see like who's Doflamingo's like outside connect, and I want to know truly if Ace, because I see y'all talk about King of Lightning, and I watch his videos too, and I want to know the points that he puts up. I'm like, is Shanks stronger than Kaido? I'm like, I'm not gonna lie. They say he had an altercation with Shanks, Kaido with Shanks. And he literally came to Marineford scarless. No type of like rustles or anything on his, like he wasn't dirty at all. I'm like, yo, what type of beast is Shanks? And if we look at one of the chapters, when Kaido looks at Luffy, I think it was like near chapter 1000. Kaido looks at Luffy, and he imagines Goldie Roger, Zebek. He imagines Shanks. And he sees Luffy. I'm like, yo, what we doing right here?
And Whitebeard. The Chads of all, he literally just saw the best Chads in the verse. Literally.
Yeah, he was like, oh, Luffy is up there. Luffy is in there with him.
It's a story that I don't want to end, but for the sake of the author, I do want it to end at some point. I just hope that he takes like 3 of his best aides and be like, you get to deal with Whitebeard's backstory, you get to deal with Roger's backstory, and you get to take this concept and do whatever you want. That's all I want. As long as they don't just completely destroy the verse, which I think that, especially in Japan's culture, if it's something like that's held down, that they'll be very spot on. This was like a US thing. Terrified. Absolutely terrified.
Definitely.
That's why I'm not sure about the whole Netflix series. But as someone who...
Well, Oda is supposed to be involved with it, right?
He is. But Ghost in the Shell, like, come on now. There are so many things that come to mind that I'm just
You didn't like that? Come on, bro. The Death Note was good. The Bleach was good. Full Metal Alchemist was good. Woo! I mean, the pinnacle of all that is Dragon Ball Evolution, which isn't a Netflix original, but we gotta really like praise those type of live actions. Oh, no, I'm just playing with you.
First of all, Avatar: The Last Airbender with Ung.
Come on, that's a proper pronunciation of Aang's name. Come on.
That hurt me so bad. How do you literally kill an entire franchise with one movie? It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Just make it live action.
So, in rounding out, just wanted to get final thoughts on are there any moments in One Piece that stand out to you just through life, like where you were at, what really hit you as far as individual aspects? Because that's one of the biggest parts about off the scene interviews that we like to point out is everyone has a similar but different understanding of the story and similar but different impacts on them personally. One Piece is an amazing story, but what it's done for us outside of that, I would argue, is much more endearing for many people. So are there any moments where you're just like, I will never forget where I was at, who I was talking to, what I was doing when watching, reading, listening to aspects of One Piece?
Man, I think one of the most important scenes for me, one of the most important scenes, I have to like really sit down to really like think of, like if I had to like pick a scene off the top of my head. Oh, because there's so many scenes. There's so many great scenes. But the one scene that really comes to mind when I hear that type of question is the scene where, in Water 7, Usopp is, going back and forth with Luffy. And, you see Zoro just standing in the background. He just looking. Zoro, we usually see him playful or, kind of sleep and stuff off.
Or drunk.
But Zoro's like, yeah, exactly. But you see Zoro and you kind of see the speech bubbles. Like, Oda makes it a thing where you, focus on Zoro at points in this conversation. Looking at his facial expressions. And I really like the fact that Zoro told Luffy, yo, you're the captain. You're dumb and all. We got to go with what you say. You can be an idiot sometimes, but you're the captain. You're the leader of all this. You lead us. You can't just let someone tell you what to do. We're following you. And basically, when Usopp tried to come back, Zoro said, Luffy, he needs to apologize to you, because if he comes on the ship, I'm leaving. And I'm like Zoro has some really, I really love where Zoro stands in his morals, because it was Zoro put his foot down at that moment, yo. And we all know, Straw Hats, while some of them are powerful, they gonna be missing a hefty chunk of that powerfulness without Zoro. So when Zoro said that, Luffy, and then that's Luffy's first crewmate. So to see Zoro say, yo, if you let him on, I will get off. I was like, shit, I get it. And then the whole moment of Usopp realizing, yo, this guy's the captain. I was wrong. I lashed back. I was in my emotions. I get where Usopp was coming from. But Usopp didn't have the full story, so he was lashing out, wasn't trying to listen to reasoning. And I'm like, he has to apologize. Usopp wasn't wrong. You have to put your trust in your captain, like Zoro said. And basically, that was just a big old leadership moment for Luffy that Zoro had to put out there, because that moment, and plus when Zoro, and then you see another moment when Zoro talks to Luffy in the New World. We're in the New World now. We can't be playing around like that no more. I'm like, Zoro, I'm like Luffy, Luffy has to mature up. He has to take responsibility, and I really like that fact that Zoro touches on that, especially as a vice captain, him, basically being Luffy's best advisor. Yo, you gotta, we gotta be serious. You gotta be serious about these type of things. You gotta step up as a leader. So I'm like, I really like these qualities.
And
Luffy is just a life-changing person. Look what he did to a pirate hunter, someone that hunted and killed pirates. Literally the first person on his ship. I'm like, yo, it's crazy.
And on top of that, Sanji agreed with him. That's how you know it really struck home. Is when Sanji's like, he's got a point.
Yeah.
So much heavy stuff, so much amazing things. Thank you again for everyone who's made it to this point in the video. Chase the Dark Sage so much. Congrats again to all of your accomplishments with your main channel. Definitely I'm going to have a lot of his stuff playing, but go ahead, check out his main channel and his second channel. The second channel includes more reactions,
mostly
right?
Twitch streams. Yeah, okay. Reactions, Twitch streams. It's mostly just my hub for all my other miscellaneous stuff outside my main channel.
There you go. Definitely go check out our boy. It's absolutely insane. He just hit 20K literally today. So I got him first interview. There we go.
Thank you.
I'm the Dark Britain. I thank you all for watching, and we will catch you all next time. Stay reckless. Peace. Hey you. Yeah, you. The amazing Nakama that made it to the end of our content. Hi. I'm the Dark Britain with the Runaway Warlords, and I'd like to personally say thank you for being able to check out our video. If you like what we have, go ahead and subscribe. That'll really be able to help you out. If you want to check out another video, we have one right here. And also, we have a lovely playlist for you to check out right there. I'm the Dark Britain of the Runaway Warlords. Thank you so much for being with us on this journey. We'll catch you next time. Peace.